Hello, welcome to a new video. In this chapter 13, we will be discussing about the basic concepts of OOP. What is OOP? OOP is Object-Oriented Programming. This OOP stands for Object-Oriented Programming. We are going to see why it is known as OOP rather than procedural language. And we are going to learn some concepts involved in this. And let's see what we are going to discuss in this chapter. What are the concepts of OOPs? Then we are going to discuss the features of OOPs. Why we are going to discuss what makes OOP different from procedural language and the concept of classes and objects and what are the structure of classes. Then comes what are the principles, benefits of OOPs we have to discuss. So let's start with the video. So the first one is OOPs concept. So the full form of OOPs is object oriented programming. In this we use the concept of objects. What is this object and what is a class we have to discuss right here. So OOPs concept, it uses classes and objects. As you can see here, it uses the concept of this object as well as classes. So what are these? We have to understand. Now it is used to structure a software program into simple reusable pieces of code called classes. So what is a class? It is a reusable piece of code. We can use it again and again in a program. So we have discussed some C++ program, and we have in that program we have simply written it according to what is given to us, but we can use the concept of classes as well as objects for a C++ program. So what it is we will learn later, but this classes helps in reusing the same code again and again. And we have to use another thing, object. So using this object we have got different functions. That means, for example, we have got main function. Rather than main, we have other functions, like I can name anything. For adding two numbers, I can use a function called sum, and all the procedures happen inside this sum function. And this is one function. Next one is maybe to find out the difference of whatever number is available. So using this object I can call these functions available inside the classes. That is what classes are used to create individual instance of object. So using inside for this class we can create objects, and we can call these functions sum, difference, or any other function which is available. We have just learned only about the function main in the previous video. Other programming languages or other languages that uses the concept of OOPs or OOP, object-oriented programming, is Java, Python, in addition to C++. So C++ we call it as object-oriented programming, whereas C is not a object-oriented programming. For a class, you have data and you have got functions together wrapped in a unit, and they are written in such a way that the access to the data is allowed through the function. You can access these data through the functions. So these all concepts will be clear in the coming chapters, but this is the basic thing that is done for this C++ programming. And due to this type of method we can reuse the functions again and again using the object. So we have to know here some words like class, object, method, attribute. These are the words that are regularly used, and we have to be aware of what does that mean. Let's go to the diagram and check what it is in our chapter. You can see here, this is the how OOPS program look like. That means you have got data and a function for one class. You have got another data and function, and here you have got another data and function. So this is the way the OOP program is being structured or written. Next one, what are the features of OOPS? So already we have discussed object and classes and objects. So let's learn in detail what these are. And we also have to know some concepts like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. These are the basic features, and these things, all this makes object-oriented programming different from procedural language or procedural approach. So this is OOPS principle. So before that, we have to know what is this class and what is object, attribute, method, and all these things. So consider what we are going to discuss about class and what it is. So class basically represents a broad category of something, or some example we can say maybe a car, a dog, that has some property in common. For consider classes, car is one class, dog is another class. So what they can share, what can be common between them, or they have some similarity, that can be color. Both has got a color. Car has got a color, dog has got a different color. Maybe in a better way you can understand like this. Car has got some attributes like color, brand, model. We can say color is an attribute of this car, and these classes have data and functions. As we saw the diagram, both these things are available inside a class. So these functions we can call it as method. The common usage is the word method, and which are available to the objects of that type. The objects we can create later for the class. We can give an example like car. This is a class, so it can have a method or a function like repaint. What will happen to this car once we use this repaint? It may change the color of the car. It can change the color of the car. So using this function, the attribute of the class car gets changed. So repaint can be a method here, class can be a car, and color can be an attribute. So this is what the concept of class, method, object is included. So here we can see an example, a basic example or diagram of a class and object. Consider car is a class. It has got attributes like color, it has got a brand, it has got some model, and we are going to use a method called repaint. Usually the name of the method is written like this, and this brackets are given, this type of bracket is given, and object is my car and Helen's car. So these are the two objects that is being created using the class car. Objects can be created for this class car. So here if we specifically take the object value, what it will be color of my car is red. Brand of my car is Dodge. Model is this one. So again it can invoke this function repaint. So this is the object my car. Another object can be Helen's car. So Helen's car's properties or attributes will be different from my car. So what it will be? It is blue, which is not same as the other one, and it has got another brand and it has got another model. But it can also use method which is already inherited from the base class or the original class car. So this is the concept of car and object. You have to create class of any name, then you can create an object of any name, and then you using this object you can use the functions inside the class, and also for each uh, each attribute of the class you have got different value for each object. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear. And this class, whatever is created, is all user defined. User, he creates the class and the object. So this is the structure of class. That means you have to mention the name of the class, you have to mention the variable inside class variable, so, and then you have to mention the functions inside the class. So this is the basic structure of a class looks like. So if you see this example, it would be much clear. So employee is the name of the class, and these are the objects of the employee. That means he is an employee, Bill is an employee, Hal is an employee, David is an employee. All these people are employees of the class employee. That means class is employee and they are objects. These people are objects of the above class, and each one of the employee will have different attributes or different values for each attribute. That means name will be different for each of them, maybe age will be different, or maybe their payment also or salary will be different, whatever. So this is the concept. We can say object is an instance of a class created with some specific value, and attribute is the information that is stored inside the class. Methods are the functions used inside the class, which is accessible using the object. And now we are going to see what are the OOPS principles. That means the same basic concepts include classes, object, and what are the specialty of this OOPS principle. That means what makes it different from other languages. So it uses some properties like inheritance, encapsulation, data abstraction, and polymorphism. So these four things are there, and what does each mean? So inheritance means you have got, the word is inheritance. That means we get something in heritage from our ancestors. So same way you have got some base class, that means the original class, and the another class that has the property or that can inherit the property of this base class is known as derived class. Base class, derived class, base class also known as child class, or this is known as, sorry, base class is also known as parent class, and derived class can be known as child class. So this child will have the properties of the parent. That means the derived class will have properties of the base class. Next one is encapsulation. This means the data and the function, they are wrapped together in a unit. That is known as encapsulation. So data and function both are together. Next one is data abstraction. It means we have to show only the essential features rather than knowing all the detail involved in that. For example, if you know the switchboard, you have to just know how to switch on or uh, switch off the light or fans. You don't have to know what is the circuit or what is the concept going on behind the switchboard. So that is not required. Same way, this data abstraction means you only have to know the basic things which you have to work with. You don't have to know everything involved in that concept. So that is what data abstraction means. Next one is polymorphism. Polymorphism, the name word poly means many. So uh, the same thing or the same thing shows different behavior at, at different points of time. So that is one thing about polymorphism. Example, you can say add operator. You can use this operator to add two numbers in your program. Also, you can use this to use this for concatenation of two alphabets. So they will get combined. If you use A plus B, it may be AB later. So it appears as two, or it do two different activities, but the symbol is same symbol is being used in this case. Another example you can think of is your smartphone. It acts both as an entertainer. For entertainment, you can use, like you can watch TV, you can do work with YouTube and all those things. You can at the same time watch or use your email there, and also you can use for setting alarms. These features are available in your phone. So the same phone acts in different forms. So that is also an example of polymorphism. Another one is cursor. The same cursor, if you see this cursor, now it is acting as a pencil symbol. Same thing, I can use it as another thing like a text. Can you see? Yes. So it can act as different things. See, I can use now as italics. So it takes out different forms at different point of time. So that is what polymorphism. Inheritance example is given here. You can see automobile has some attribute engine and wheel. So automobile can be of type two-wheelers, three-wheelers and four-wheeler. So what is inheritance? It has the property of the above class or the parent class. It inherits the property. So scooter has got some attribute which is from two-wheeler, and two-wheeler has got some attributes from automobile. So this is inheritance example. Polymorphism, as explained, see, numbers, when it gets added up, it gives another thing. When both characters are being added or concatenated, it acts as a concatenation operator, and both of them AB output you can get. Next one is intext question 13.1. It is not mandatory, so it's false. One of the striking features of OOPS is division of program into objects that represent real-world entities. Yes, it's true. The data of different types into a single unit is known as encapsulation. Wrapping up of data and function in a single unit is known as encapsulation, but here it means something else. It's saying definition of two things. So what they mean is existing in different form, that is polymorphism. Encapsulation is different and polymorphism is different. Next is object-oriented programs are executed much faster than conventional program. That's not, nothing is mentioned like that, so it's false. Since C is a subset of C++, C programs will run under C++ compiler. That can be true. So you can use same thing for writer. Turbo C can write use for this both programs. Next concept is benefits of OOPs. So these are the benefits of object-oriented programming. Since we are creating class and then we are here you have data and functions. This is another data, this is function. So you have got different classes and different functions. So what are the benefits of object-oriented programming? First one is modularity. That means they are divided into different modules like this. Separation is there between each set of program. It's not in one go, it's not written. So it has been classified. So because of this, the complexity or the difficulty level of this program is being reduced. And we have got another concept of object. So after creating all these classes and all, we create object, and then using this object, any object, like I'm creating ABC object. So using this object ABC, this function can be invoked, like it has a syntax like dot is being used. So ABC is used for calling the function from the first class or the second class, however it is. So next one is reuse. So we are again using the similar functions using different objects. So same concept. These are the benefits of object-oriented programming. So which makes it much simpler, and you have to learn how to program in object-oriented way. That is means using the classes and objects. We will learn in the later classes. Next one is in-text questions. So the first one is C++ is an object-oriented programming language. Next one is n blank is a self-contained unit of dash and function. So what it is, data and function you can say, and what it is, object is a self-contained unit of data and function. Third one is a blank can be used to create object of its type. That means using the class you can create object. Next one is dash or blank is a way of combining data with functions. What you call it as data and functions comes together in encapsulation. We call this property as encapsulation. Next one is a derived class can be derived from base class. This derived class also known as child class, and this is parent class. Next one is true or false. So C++ is an extension to C programming. Yes, that is true. Next one is function of one object cannot access the function of other. Functions of one class cannot access the functions of other objects in C++. This is false. Inheritance is the capability to define a new class in terms of an existing class. Okay. Define a new class in terms of an existing class. Yes, that is true. Inheritance uses the properties of base class into the derived class. Abstraction refers to the act of representing only essential features without including the background details. This is true. Example I have told you, like switchboard. An object is a new data type. It is not. So this is false. It's an instance of the class. Object is a class variable or an instance of the class. The definition is given here. Thank you for watching. And if you have got queries and doubts, please mail to the email address given. And thank you.